What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Punching Up. I am your host, Maya May, and I missed you guys last week. I feel like if I don't have a chance to touch base and connect with everyone on a weekly basis, I might just lose my freaking mind. A lot of you might not know, but I am from the suburbs of Chicago. I'm not going to say Chicago, but I did live in the city. I lived in Woodlawn. I lived in Rogers Park, Wrigleyville, downtown. And so everything that's happening in Chicago right now is making me wish that I was there, because I am proud of our mayor. I'm proud of the governor for fighting back, because right now, as you can see, things are starting to come to a head. And anytime I would travel outside of Chicago, like visiting my relatives in Atlanta, an Uber driver would inevitably ask me something like, "Oh, it's really dangerous there, I hear." And yeah, if you watch Fox News, you might think that Chicago is a war zone, because that's what they used to play over and over and over again. And so it's easy to see how people could buy into this idea that Chicago is this dangerous place where, I believe, I can't remember which guy said there were something like 110,000 gang members in Chicago, which is a little bit insane. It's easy to see how people might believe that, though, if they buy into the propaganda. And so, what better way to defeat that propaganda than to actually talk to people who are on the ground in Chicago? So, tonight's Punching Up is going to be sort of a hangout with a bunch of Chicago comedians and influencers who are going to pop in and say hi. But I'm incredibly excited to bring my first guest, my main guest for tonight, who is a improv guy, stand up. Steve Tapas, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hello. Doing good. We're live from the war zone.
Yeah, it
So
seems pretty quiet.
yeah. It is pretty quiet. It's actually a very beautiful day. There's a lot of people out walking their dogs. I think I might go get a beer on a patio later this evening. It's beautiful fall weather. So despite how they characterize it on Fox News.
Exactly.
It's a
So, okay, when you hear Fox News, when you hear these politicians talk about Chicago as a war zone, it's nothing new, obviously. But when we have the president of the United States, if you remember a couple of weeks back, saying that he was going to send in the troops, he did a little Apocalypse Now reference.
yes.
What comes to mind? What are you thinking?
I was actually in New Jersey, which is also a state that gets a bad rap. New Jersey is fantastic, but I was pretty upset. Like I did take that personally, especially because Brandon Johnson has succeeded at, like, crime is at a 60-year low, 60. Like, crime has never been lower, especially during the summer. So I've actually felt safer and happier, and just like things have been more vibrant now than ever. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I was offended by that, to be honest with you. And honestly, it made me really, really scared. So
Well, I was gonna say offended, but I also, like, I know Chicago, you know Chicago. Like, Chicagoans aren't gonna take that kind of crap from anyone, let alone like an outsider.
no, yeah, he's yeah. I mean, I'm not even like worried about that aspect of it, because like he's all show and no go. But like when it comes to like that kind of thing, like it's gonna be worth more trouble than, like, just like in terms of like civil disobedience slash like coming together and like building a phalanx around communities. Chicago is a city of neighborhoods, literally. You could go to a place in Uptown and there were people who had Southern accents because they were from the South, they were from the Appalachian Mountains originally, but they were so close to their community that there were people who never left Chicago that had Southern accents. Like, that's how strong communities are in Chicago. So I agree.
I'm glad you brought that up. I was talking to somebody the other day who was talking about immigration in Europe and saying, "Oh, well, people haven't left their identity behind, and they're not assimilating in the way that they should." And it made me think about Chicago being a city of neighborhoods, because, like, Devon Street, like, I love Devon Street. I've never said to myself, "Oh," and for people who don't know, Devon Street is where a lot of people from the Indian community live, and I've never heard it referred to in a negative light. Like, that's just like Chicago.
Devon Street itself actually gives me hope for this, like the world. And I think it's the reason why Devon Street is a perfect microcosm of why America is great, because not only does it has an Indian community that lives on part of it, there's a Pakistani community, there is a Hasidic Jewish community, and it's all within 1 block, like 1 mile on the same street in Chicago. And you can drive down that block and all of that is mixing together. And it's pretty amazing. Like that, it's an incredible thing. Like,
no, it gives, that's the thing that gives me hope, is because same when I'm in New York and I look around and I'm in the city and I'm on the train and I see all of this beautiful diversity, and I'm like, yes, diversity is our strength, unlike what Pete Hegseth seems to insist is not true. The ability for us to learn from each other and work together. And that is what is so scary to the Trump regime. Like, that is what they are attacking. I'm excited because I have 2 more comics I can see. They're in the green room right now. And I don't know, do you know Janice Rodriguez?
I do not know Janice Rodriguez.
Okay, well, this is going to be fun because I want to bring her in. And then, do you know John McCombs?
I do know John McCombs.
Well, John's coming in. Look at this diversity that
What's up, John?
Have. No diversity. It's bad. It's bad.
Diversity's bad. It's our weakness. We need everybody to be.
It's McCombs. So you gotta say the S.
McCombs. I apologize. So, for everybody who doesn't know already, Janice has been on the show before, friend of the show, comedian, and just produced the Latina Comedy Festival in Chicago. And John, former comedian, veteran, Marine Corps, I believe, is running for office. So I think this is a perfect group to talk about what's going on in Chicago. So John, can you tell us just a little bit about why you decided to, because you're making us look bad. Like, should we all be running for office too? What made you decide to make the leap?
Oh, I mean, obviously how frustrated everybody was after the last election, the feeling of helplessness, the feeling of like, what is our country coming to? And also a feeling of, frustration with our leaders. Frustration with the Democratic Party to mount an effective response to what we're seeing. So I decided, I was in the Marine Corps, and I'm a stand-up comedian, also not former. I'll still do it. I still do shows. But yeah, I know how to fight. I know how to communicate, and that's what we lack a lot of in the Democratic Party, are fighters and communicators. So I figured, if not me, then who? And so it's been going well. I've got a lot of people who have been interested in getting involved, especially in the comedy community. So it's been really eye-opening and really engaging.
I absolutely love that. And Janice, you're heavily involved. You're too busy producing comedy shows and comedy festivals to run for office, but community building is a huge part of what makes democracy work. Can you talk about the festival and just the diversity within the festival itself?
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome. Sorry, my voice is still recovering. But obviously we had that kind of, the ice thing running on in the background, right? So that definitely was a part of it. But our whole thing, like, even when we were sending out like the press releases, we're like, how much do we like lean into that story? Like, was that like the narrative we wanted? We know what's going on, and I'm not going to bury my head in the sand, but we wanted it to be about joy. We wanted it to be about community. We wanted it to be like, hey, we're going to get together and tell our jokes and get people and get Latinas from all over North America, including several from Mexico and Canada who are Mexican, and we actually had Spanish language for the first time too. So like all of this was like all happening at the same. Yeah. So that was our way of that was my little thing of resistance, is just to laugh and have joy, because literally like the festival kicked off on Thursday. And then I don't know if you saw that when there was a tear gas thing that was like right on the way, like right on Armitage, right by my house and right on the way to the Lincoln Lodge. So like it kicked off, you know, that day of the fest. And then my alderperson, Jessie Fuentes, you saw her get arrested.
Well, that was your alderperson?
Yeah, that's my alderperson, 26th
Yeah.
ward. Yeah. So I was in touch with them because I was like, hey, I want to give you guys community tickets. Like I wanted this to be like a really big community event. And unfortunately, they were like activating all weekend. So yeah, it's like all this, everything just kind of came together. And Lincoln Lodge, I want to be like, just to say it, they were very, very proactive. Like because of them, I participated in an ICIRR like webinar that the coalition, I forgot the exact name, but they're the legal group for artists. Like here in Chicago, it's like a pro bono group. So they had this like a training for how to handle ICE if they come to your venues. So there was all of that. Like all of that was like happening at the same time. And I'm just like, I just want to tell some jokes for once, you know? So it was a lot, but we ended up, it was joyous. It was hilarious. And it was a great time. So screw you, ICE. I think Maya is frozen.
I can't tell internet that's freezing or if it's Janice's internet that's freezing, but I know she just said something that I wish I would have heard. I'm like, can you just repeat that all over again? We can hear you, but
Yeah,
my
I think
my
you're
pick is
freezing,
frozen.
Maya.
Well, let me.
I heard Janice.
Yeah, you heard me, John and Steve. You guys heard me?
I heard you. And I don't think you should undermine the resistance of gathering a block and a half away. It's like, that's cool. I heard it was a good show.
Thank you. That's awesome. Yeah, because at first I was like, I don't want to give it too much, you know, credence. But then like when we sent it out and like the media was calling, they really were focusing. I mean, you can't, you know, deny that it was happening, but it was just, our whole thing was like, no, we're going to laugh and have a good time. Come on in. If, you know, we'll, like, we have a plan. So, you know, that's all you can do is prepare and kind of go from there. So luckily everything worked out wonderfully. So.
I mean, finding time to laugh, because I think a lot of people feel guilty right now about experiencing joy, but comedy, laughter, experiencing joy, those are all things that are tactics that actually work for fighting against fascism. Steve, you use satire all the time online. Can you talk about your experience putting together videos and in this time of very, very dark times?
Yeah, I do the political satire stuff. It's interesting because I started doing it because I wanted to punch up literally at the people that were causing all these problems. And the interesting thing that happened is as I started doing them and I was saying some pretty outlandish things, the supporters of the people I was satirizing were quick to defend them for some of the most outrageous things that I was saying. So it kind of gave me an insight into just like the reflexive nature of our discourse. Like I see that person and I know who the enemy is, and therefore I have to defend this person, even if I was saying that they like, you know, did some outrageous things. So satire is pretty cool. I was just at the Broadview Ice facility with Robbie Road Steamer. He dressed up like an alligator and was serenading some ICE officers. And like we were talking about how getting people to laugh kind of like takes them out of the moment so that they can look at everything from like the outside in, and it makes it feel so surreal because we're used to seeing all of this somewhere else, not in, you know. So yeah, I like doing satire.
Yeah, and that's the thing. This is not the kind of violence that we're seeing and the kind of police activity and law enforcement activity, military activity is something we're used to seeing in other countries, not here. Oh my God, this can't happen here. John, you're a Marine. What was it like? And I know you've been to a few of the protests. What has it been like to see the military used in this way?
Well, just to clarify, currently the National Guard is not at ICE or at the Broadview facility, I should say. It's all local. It's all ICE agents, DHS agents, and then they have some support, or I don't know if I can classify it as support, but there's a presence by state police and some municipality police as well. And to be quite honest, like you looking at it, you probably won't even be able to tell on the outside that ICE isn't the military, because literally they have military hardware. They have gear that like people who've been deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan didn't have, right? So they have, armor.
John, I asked you on Friday if those were real guns. Remember when I asked you that? We were standing there on the picket line, and then I leaned over to you, and I'm like, "Is that actually?" Sorry, I just wanted to I asked John because I was so scared.
I like this
no, we were. There was they all had long guns, which is why we've all been saying the militarization of police is bad. But I literally leaned over to John because he had a megaphone, and I was like, "John, is that a real thing?" And then he reassured me that it was probably rubber bullets, or he hoped.
Yeah, well, some of them have paintball guns essentially. Others have actual, no kidding, military style rifles. They also have drones. They also have, as we know, Black Hawk helicopters. They also have tear gas, stun grenades, and a big old black armored vehicle that they like to do their little Instagram, TikTok reel photo shoot for. As they're hanging off the side of it. Like, really, are you about to go on 290 with 6 guys hanging off the side of your vehicle? I think not. You're going to circle the block and go back home. Which, to Steve's point about humor, is very powerful. And I was roasting these guys as I was standing there, and that was actually getting a lot of the protesters, they were enjoying that, right? And it breaks through some of the chants and the name calling, because at this point they've been called fascists, Nazis, et cetera, et cetera. That probably it's all white noise to them now, but calling them out specifically about a thing that they do or a apparel choice that they have, and making it funny, I think cuts through a little bit more, but also points out the ridiculousness of what they're doing. And I even was like, yeah, who was who went downtown Chicago walking around your little patrol on Michigan Avenue? I bet that was fun, walking by people who are walking their labradoodles. What are you doing? You are the one who looks ridiculous here.
Yeah, I call it the divorce bonus, just to add on. Me and John was crushing. He got a lot of laughs in the crowd.
I love that you turned it into an open mic, John.
Well, we literally did.
Performing next to give it up to your leaders.
Yeah. I was calling them out. I'm oh, you guys are the B team. You didn't get to go on ride around in the armored vehicle. You get it. You get to be in front of
left behind.
Yeah.
It's literally Chicago being the comedy town that it is. Yeah. It's the place that's going to demoralize ICE into quitting their jobs, I'm pretty sure.
Maya, you made me LOL when I don't know if you did it or because I'd seen that, when the guy who said he wasn't a citizen, then he ran on the bike, he ran away on the bike and everybody started chasing him. But you did it with the clown music.
Yes.
That killed me. And I was like, we're so unserious.
But that's it was amazing. That's we refuse to, and I don't know what it is about, and maybe it's just because I like to surround myself with funny people, but I just feel like Chicago is just a town of people who like to roast each other, that all throughout all neighborhoods. It's not specific to any one ethnic group, or it's just we just like to laugh and have fun, and we're like, fuck you, ICE. And speaking of people who like to laugh, I can see that Liz Minnella is about to join the chat, so I want to bring her in.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Liz. How are you doing? For everybody who doesn't know Liz brought together how many, hundreds, thousands and thousands of white women on the White Women.
100,000 white women. That's a lot. It's a lot of Katies and Karens in one place. But they were fired up. They were ready to go for Kamala Harris. They opened those white lady wallets very nicely. We raised $11 million in 1 hour. And it was quite the time to be alive. As is this.
Yeah, I was gonna say as is
opposed to now. Thank you. Hold on, Liz. Hang on, babe. Hang on.
Yeah. Well, Liz and Liz, you're in the suburbs, and you're around people who are very much maybe this couldn't happen here, right?
Yeah. I'm really happy to bring the white lady northern suburbs perspective to this chat, because you guys, it's fucking unhinged. We can swear, right?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, it's been, so there have been reports of ICE in a lot of the suburban communities. Recently, there was a report of ICE targeting nannies at a park in Winnetka. For anyone that's not familiar with Winnetka, good God, how do I even begin? Picture like the best and worst place you can imagine. I can say this because I'm from there. Simultaneously coexisting, and just those people trying to figure that out every day. It's a wonderful community filled with a lot of wonderful people. It's also filled with a lot of not wonderful people, and everybody's really rich and thinks they're the most important person on the planet. So when it was reported that ICE was in Winnetka, there was a lot of pushback and just complete disbelief that this wouldn't happen in our perfect bubble that we've paid to insulate from the outside world. It was a really kind of fascinating sociological experiment. Of course, it did happen. It was not reported to the local police because I don't really know anybody that when there's an overreach of federal authority, their first thought is to call in more law enforcement. I don't know how you guys were raised, but I was raised in you don't really call the police when other police are harassing you. And yeah, so it's been quite the ups and downs in the old North Shore community. But I've also seen like a lot of great things happen, a lot of incredible community response, people coming together, sharing resources, a huge like rapid response task force kind of assembled that are working with ICIRR. And I'm really seeing like a lot of Democratic leaders and people who are activists, whether it's online or just in the community, like really stepping up in this moment. It's really encouraging to see.
It is. And as you're part of the finance committee. You're the finance chair now for the DNC.
Yes. Unfortunately, no.
Well, let's talk about the Democrats. Let's talk about, because I know in many different ways we're all messaging strategists, and really we all have our different gripes with what we're seeing. Steve, what are you trying to bring to the Democratic Party with your humor? And oh yay, we've got Lauren is here too, so we're gonna have to bring her in a second.
I just think that there's a reason that Donald Trump is in the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, and it's because he's very good at creating heels, which are bad guys, and baby faces, which are good guys. So he has created the script where he is the baby face and the Democrats are the heels. So anytime somebody says you're the bad guy, you're going to say, I'm the good guy. They're the bad guy. So by trying to point it all back at him, we're playing into his construction of the narrative. So what I try to do is like, look at it from a different angle so that people can kind of play a bank shot, right? Like Trump is defending Epstein. Epstein is a billionaire. Therefore, he cares about billionaires. Billionaires, like, go for a different enemy and you'll hit him on the way down. Like, that's what I try to bring to it through my satire.
I love that. Janice, because you work in communications and marketing. Does that resonate with you?
Yeah, I mean, I've always said the guy's a genius. Like, I'm sorry, like evil genius, but he's like a marketing genius, like, or evil cult leader. I mean, all the same, right? Isn't branding like all parts of being a cult leader? It's like the same thing. So, yeah, I mean, that's playbook 101, fascism and probably marketing of every capitalist, brand in the world. But yeah, I mean, yeah, we got to do something different. We all know that, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, this whole like build a longer table narrative, that didn't work, right? So I don't know what that means. That's more probably a John and Liz question. I really don't know. I'm not giving up, but I don't know. I used to be like, yeah, we got to do this, and the people will finally wake up, and none of the stuff that usually works. So
right. Well, because to us it seems as observers it's pretty obvious, right? And yet it doesn't seem to break through in the way that we want it to. John, what's your experience been like trying to break through on the campaign trail and just kind of branding yourself? How's it been?
Yeah, in terms of like. Well, two questions I think here. One about branding, one about comedy in particular. I think everybody in here have experience doing comedy, especially if you do comedy outside of Chicago. You go 40 minutes in any direction and you're in rural red areas, right? And so you go on stage not knowing the politics of the audience, and you have to communicate with them, and you have to have a message that resonates with them, and you have to find common ground. So I think that's translated very well into politics of like, okay, I ask people when I talk to them one-on-one, first and foremost, if there are 3 things in this country that you would change, what would they be? And everybody has an answer on that one. And usually they somehow, the things that they would change relate to a policy idea that I have, or something that I can talk to that's like, okay, this is the messaging that you're receiving, but here is like the core root of that problem and how we can actually address it. And I think when you communicate with people in that type of way, in a way that really makes sense to them and puts their priorities first, it really starts to resonate with them. And I've even had people who voted for Trump say, like, I would vote for you because like you're a normal person who speaks to me like I'm a human being. So I think when it comes to actually, branding myself and actually like moving forward into politics, I think one of the things I already pointed out, saying like we need fighters and communicators. Communicators we definitely need, 100% we need. And also that humor portion really helps, because I don't know, I'm sure everybody in this room is aware, but when Gavin Newsom has this thing where he mimicked the way Trump would tweet. And I think that was actually pretty effective, because you had Fox News and a bunch of the right-wing media ecosystem commenting on it, being like, why is he talking like this? And I'm like, see, this is what's cutting through, because it's calling out the ridiculousness of how Trump communicates and how unpresidential it is. And so we have more stuff like that actually points out, kind of, Steve, to your point, the bank shot there. I think that's a perfect example of a bank shot of saying like, yeah, see, it's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah. They like short-circuited when he did that. They're like, whoa, that's our thing. What are you doing?
But and the thing is, like, kind of just piggybacking, like, the reason he's a genius and the reason why people like him is because he's an entertainer. And like politics has failed people in this country for the last 40 years. So if you're not going to get any policy out of it, you may as well get some laughs. So it's like like, you got to bring the heat. Like, it's a show now. Like, if you can't govern, then at least make people be like, oh, well, he did that. Like,
and so much of entertainment is emotions, right? It's
right. Exactly.
People
space, dude.
Lay out a 20-point policy, tax plan, etc., and people will be like, cool, awesome. But if you're like, build a wall, deport them all, that's getting at people's emotions. And so that's what, like, I think Democrats need to be better at countering and also offering their own solution on.
And like you said, you made that rhyme, John. You got to make stuff rhyme, apparently.
I was going to say it also rhymed, which was great.
Deport them all. I mean, I don't know. There's something to be said about that.
Like, I want to bring in Lauren Carter, who is in the green room as well. Speaking of good communicators, Lauren Carter, welcome to Punching Up. For you guys who don't know, Lauren is also in the suburbs, but comes into the city often. An amazing communicator, also a former event producer, wedding planner, which it seems like right now getting our democracy back is a lot of planning events, project management. Can you talk about some of the, like, we've got the October 18th, No Kings coming up. Can you talk about what goes into trying to wrangle all of the cats of the people and getting us all in the right place at the right time?
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's funny when you think about like the pipeline from wedding planner to activist is not really one that you would imagine, but it does actually make so much sense. That's actually how Liz and I met, was working on an event together during the Harris campaign. So there is a lot that goes into understanding the logistics and what is needed. So even I met Steve for the first time in person outside of the Broadview ICE facility last week, and just understanding what I needed to bring with me. What are the things that other people might need? I have a backpack that I bring with me to protests that I am fully stocked for anybody in my immediate vicinity who might need supplies. I have a solution that I make before protests that could neutralize tear gas, and I have enough to go around for at least 10 people. I have multiple gas masks in my bag. So there's
I clocked you
I
as that
realize how
person.
insane this sounds. Like if we would have thought, like,
No, I always go to whenever I'm in a sketchy
Yes,
situation.
protein.
I always look at somebody.
Yeah,
who I
she has
know.
everything you need.
snacks.
Yeah, and I'm like, who's the person I'm going to ask for help if anything goes sideways? I'm like, I bet you Lauren's got it squared away.
I got you.
Like,
Yeah, I got like water and granola bars. I've got a first aid kit. I've got all of the things, and I put it in a backpack, and then I take an American flag and drape that over my backpack so that we're, just multitasking. And also now I'm using my wholesale flower license to get flowers to bring to protest because I just think
love that.
oh,
I
that's
also,
awesome.
I didn't even know that was a thing to have a wholesale flower license. Didn't know it was a thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think the way that I'm approaching this moment is I think that we're really in this scenario where humanity is lost in a lot of ways. Like we have stopped being able to see each other as human beings. And so that's what I'm trying to do in every piece of content I make. And every time I go out and I'm physically in a space, I'm working on planning some activations with some other friends who are like-minded, where we're just going to go into neighborhoods that are being targeted in Chicago and use our privilege. I mean, it is one thing to be on the sidelines and watching and horrified with what's happening. It's quite another to say, okay, I'm a white woman from the suburbs. I'm going to take that and I'm going to go into a neighborhood that's being targeted, and I'm prepared to put my body in between somebody who is being targeted and the aggressor. And it's a different kind of headspace to get into, but it's an important one, I think.
Well, and I think it's shocking, the administration or regime, as I often like to call it, because I don't think they expected to see this level of allyship and solidarity. I think they thought they were going to get people to scatter. Janice, you've been at shows, you've been producing shows. Are you feeling the love from people in the community, in the Chicago comedy community, but also just in the general public as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's, well, I kind of get mad when people are like, I didn't know he was going to do this. I'm like, he told you he was.
What?
So when I hear that, it still like really pisses me off because I'm like, he literally, I think he had bullet points and said that's what he was going to do. Like, I believed him. I don't know, that's why I didn't vote for him. So that I still get a little bit of that. Like, I was okay if it was this. So I think just by, again, through our comedy and being like an all Latina, show, well, mostly Latina for like the other Las Locas stuff, I think we're just kind of educating people and saying like, hey, if you messed up now do you see that we're all together? And, yeah, you didn't want your taco guy to get deported, but he did. Like, I don't get how they didn't make that connection. So if we're making that now through comedy and through art and everything, hopefully they can make a better decision. But I think we're also like motivating people to do something too. So that's the good thing. But yeah, I'm feeling love. I'm feeling a little bit of regret. Obviously, like, Latino men had a big part in that last election, and I don't let them forget that through my comedy. So, whatever side you ended up on that too, it's like, come on, guys, because we have our own things internally. Immigrant, non-immigrant, speak Spanish, don't. You have colorism within the Latino community, so you have all this already happening. Comedy is a good way to talk about it, open hearts and minds. But I think our shows pull in a diverse group of audience members too. So, yeah, I do feel the love. I feel the support, and I just hope that can also like parlay into like actual like work. So not just going to a comedy show, but like what else can we do what can you do on like that micro level in your neighborhood to kind of resist? So hopefully we can share that info.
I absolutely love that. And what I see when I see all of your faces here is I see people who haven't given up, not even in the slightest, almost like we're just getting going. We've kind of stabilized and gone, oh, okay, so yeah, they're going to go full fascist on us. Well, cool, we're here to resist and fight back. And so I'm incredibly proud to know each and every one of you. And I love collaborating with all of you. And I hope that everybody watching is as inspired as I am in this moment and seeks out people in their community who are doing this kind of work, because it is so important and it is enriching. Like, it makes me feel good to be around people who care, and it pushes me forward on those days, which is almost every day, where I'm like, I'm gonna fucking lose my fucking mind. I'm sure we all have those days. Anything else before we close out the show? Did anybody want to get any last word in? John, when is your election? Liz, where can people give money? Lauren, where should we go? Stephen, tell us what, anything.
Well, I just want to say, like, shout out to JB, who's being like an absolute daddy right now.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the come and get me is just, I was like weirdly turned on by that. He is. And then Stratton gets up there and she's like, take him, you're going to have to deal with me. And I would like pay so much money to watch like a political cage match between Donald Trump try to go toe to toe with Stratton. Like, please, hilarious. That woman will eat him for breakfast. Yeah, but like, here for the theater of it all.
I would just say, especially to the people who are feeling defeated, first and foremost, like, not every action needs to be big. Not every act of resistance needs to be putting your body on the line, taking tear gas, all that. Like, resistance can be attending a town hall, or donating to a homeless shelter, or anything like that that helps other people from day to day. So even the smallest act can be very powerful and very impactful. And honestly, you'll probably see the immediate results of that more than, say, going to a protest. On that, though, I will also say, for the people who are feeling helpless, hopeless, etc., always zoom out. Always zoom out, because humanity, by and large, always trends towards progress, trends towards acceptance, even though we have these backswings. Look at Germany now. Look at all these places look at Spain now. Like, these are places that had their own run-ins with fascism, and now they are more accepting. Life expectancy is longer. We're more educated, etc. We're always trending towards progress, even though in the immediate term, it may not feel that way.
Right on, y'all. I feel, Steve.
This is not my advice. This is from my fiance. Had I known you were a wedding planner, Lauren, I would have. I would have. But no, like she brought up a good point the other day, which is like, even just like, if you see somebody that you regularly see or you don't regularly see, like, we have some people doing work on our block for the city, and like just being like, hey, nice to meet you. This is where I live. Like, shaking somebody's hand, like, that way they know that they're a part of your community. Like, in other words, like, if anything you don't know whatever's going to happen in Chicago. It's like kind of there's good and bad surprises, but like, right now there are really bad surprises. So just making people feel seen and like they're part of the team. It's so easy. It doesn't cost any money. You don't have to show up anywhere. Just looking at somebody in the eye and being like, hey, good morning. Like, that's it.
I think that's actually a point On Tyranny by Timothy Snyder, where he specifically says, make eye contact. That's one of the steps.
It is.
And as an event planner, I would like to plug one of my clients, if that's okay.
Yes.
So I have shifted away from the weddings, and I'm doing mostly nonprofit event work in this phase of life. And I have a client in Chicago who has a gala coming up on October 23rd. They are Digs with Dignity, and they focus on helping transition folks who are moving out of homelessness, and they provide furnishings which helps keep them housed. And there are some really incredible people who've moved out of incarceration and into this program. And it's just such an incredible thing. So if anybody is looking for something to do on October 23rd at Lacuna Lofts, and you want to come support Digs with Dignity, right now I've got the tickets in my Instagram.
That's
profile.
perfect. Oh yes, where can everybody, real quick, shout out your handles? Where can everyone find every?
Small plate.
Oh yeah, you go first.
Lauren, you go ahead.
Okay, I'm Lauren Lehman Carter
Perfect.
on Instagram mostly.
And they can also find the digs with
And
digs.
Digs with Dignity, they're the pinned link in my profile for their gala.
Perfect. Liz, where can people find you?
I'm at Liza Manella, and there's an awesome organization up on my stories right now that's based in Pilsen, and they're raising money to equip our at-risk community members with things like DoorDash gift cards and groceries and Lyft cards so that they don't have to commute to work and put themselves at risk. So click that link. It's up in my stories.
Awesome. John McCombs, where can people find your comedy and your candidacy?
Well, candidacy is at McCombs for Congress on Instagram, TikTok, and I believe also Facebook as well. And then for my comedy at, now I'm trying to remember, what is my comedy handle? John McCombs Comedy on Instagram. Yeah, I'm in and out of there constantly, but I'm like, man, what do I actually talk about on stage? Yeah.
Awesome. Janice?
Sure. Yeah. JVR Speaks. And from there, you can get to Latina Comedy Festival, which we're going to be posting up pictures, just had it this past weekend, as well as Las Locas Comedy, which is our monthly production. So we'll be at Laugh Factory tomorrow night at 7 o'clock now. So if you want to come get some laughs, I got some comps, hit me up. Good stuff.
Awesome. And Steve, where are we?
Yeah. Small plates, pretty much anywhere. Just type that in the search bar. And if you heard trans up
I just
front,
got that now. Tapas.
yeah,
Small
that's the one.
plates.
No, there's this good organization that I've seen around at a lot of events that it's called Trans Up Front, and they go to communities to defend, literally go talk to school boards about trans kids who, and it's not just like in cities, it's like in places that are very far away, rural communities, and they're doing a lot to defend people that need the education. Like, people need to be educated so that these people are defended by their communities. So Trans Up Front, it's a great organization.
I'll check it out because I'm not familiar. So that is right up my alley, and I'm very interested. So, guys, thanks for joining me for this week's Punching Up. You are all obviously welcome back anytime. I kind of like this panel format, this little round table thing. We had good times. So thanks everyone watching, and we'll try to get some clips up. And other than that, I'll see you next week. Make sure to hydrate, and let's keep our democracy between now and next Wednesday. Thanks.
Thanks,
Good night.
Thank you.